From the beginning of time, man has always had a pursuit of the best quality of life possible. That quality of life is not possible without resources. The form of resources we have accumulated has changed over time from cowrie shells, state-controlled money, precious metals, real estate, and stocks and bonds. Over the past 100 years, the world has been dominated by the US dollar and its reserves. But everything that has a beginning also has an end. A new financial revolution is upon us with the emergence of a digital economy. The way we earn, spend, and accumulate resources is fundamentally changing. A new asset has appeared that the wealthy have overlooked. Bitcoin has become the best performing asset of the past decade by far. With only 21 million ever in existence, there are more millionaires and billionaires in the world today than there are Bitcoin. Just by holding 0.25 Bitcoin today will put you in the top 1% asset holders in the world in the next 5 to 10 years. If you would have invested $100,000 in Bitcoin in 2013, today it will be worth more than $15 million. Bitcoin billionaire Raoul Pal says, Bitcoin's performance is so dominant and so all-encompassing that it is going to suck in every single asset narrative dry and spit it out. Never before in my career have I seen a trade so dominant that holding any other assets makes almost no sense. This is not an industry you can afford to ignore. If you want to remain in business, then you must adapt. Are you offering services in Bitcoin? Are you accepting payments with digital currencies? Have you adopted blockchain technology? Blockbuster Video at one point was the most dominant video service in the world. They had the opportunity to be part of Netflix, but they ignored the changing technology. Where is Blockbuster today? Where will you be tomorrow? There we go. All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Early Morning Crypto Talk on this Saturday morning. This is Bitcoin Brandon from Los Angeles, California. Go ahead and type in the chat box where you're listening in from. As a disclaimer, I am not a licensed financial advisor to be giving financial advice. I read the news, give my opinion, share a suggestion, and it is up to you to make an informed, intelligent decision on which direction you want to move into. So every Saturday, we do an open crypto talk so if you ask yourself, wow, Brandon, where have you been? Have you stopped doing crypto talks? No, I still do them every day, every week, except for Sunday. Except the only thing is this last week was the first full week where, was it this past week or the week before? I think it was the week before we started. The Ivy League Crypto Academy is the only place where we're hosting the crypto talks, except for Saturday. Saturday, I'm Zooming them live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and everywhere. So the community has an opportunity to see what it is that we discuss behind closed doors, that you have to be a part of the Ivy League Crypto Academy. And there's no charge for you to do that. If you want to be a part of our crypto talks on a daily basis, then all you have to do is register. ILCAchallenge.com, ILCAchallenge.com, and accept the invite into our private Facebook group. And Monday through Friday, you get to participate in our crypto talks. At least next week. Next week. Because things will change on April 1st. April 1st, things will change. But all you have to do for right now is register. So, saying that, let's see who do we have on so far. We've got T. Carlson on the YouTube. Good morning. Maria. Happy Saturday. Hola, Marnita from Colorado. Deborah from Colorado. Teresa from, I forgot where Teresa's from, Carlson. I think Illinois. Michael Pendleton, good morning. Faye Harris from Temecula. Facebook user, I think that is Marnita. Melissa from The UK, Fallon from Southeast Texas, Janelle, Colorado, Facebook user Ontario, Canada, Marianne Barras from Pennsylvania, Prelvis from Corpus Christi, Mike from New Jersey, Demetrius, good morning, Christine from Northern Illinois, Facebook user from Michigan, Neil Brooks, Richmond, Virginia, Doreen from Anguilla in the West Indies, Paulette, Colorado, Kevin Strausser from Georgia, and Demetrius from Texas, Teresa, Washington, Dion, what's going on, Dion? Stan Thompson from Michigan, Dagmar, Lake Arrowhead, Alita from New Jersey, Kenny from Los Angeles, Walter Flint from Nebraska, Pat, good morning, Pat Amy, Kim from New Jersey, Karen from the Cayman Islands, Pat is in Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas. I'll be in Dallas in May 13th. That weekend, May 13th to the 14th, we'll be in Dallas, Texas. Sue Williams from Utah. All right, let's go ahead and get things kicked off. We just finished the 5-day challenge, our third 5-day challenge in March last night. How many of you guys were part of that last night? Did you like it? Did you learn anything new? Was it valuable? And we are now running it back. The next 5-day challenge will be on April 25th through the 29th. All you have to do is register, ilcachallenge.com, to be a part of that. And it's designed for all of you brand new people who have no idea what crypto is, or a little bit, and you want to learn a little bit more. And it's designed for all of you so-called seasoned veterans in the crypto space to be able to get a little bit more intimate sessions with crypto, and especially if you're a VIP, to be able to go into our Q&A area and ask questions. That's very, very powerful. I was talking to somebody else and they said, Brandon, I appreciate you doing what you're doing, because there's not too many people that we can have access to that kind of knows this space, and we can get our questions answered one-on-one. And the only really place you can do that is if you go to a Bitcoin event, and hopefully you can meet somebody at that event or listen to the panelists, and you can ask questions back and forth. So we do this, and we provide this for the community. So we're having a recap call on Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Will be a recap of last week. I'm going to show or share a picture of me. I'm going to call it the before and after. I'm going to have two shots. A picture of me before crypto and a picture of me after crypto. It was the day I almost got a 9-to-5 job again. And the very next day, I took crypto serious. And the rest was history. So I'm gonna show that off on Monday. And we have my CMO, James Hendricks, is going to be on to talk about what's coming in the future with ILCA starting in April, which is the second quarter of this year. And I told you guys from the first month on January that the 5-day challenge, the virtual Bitcoin bootcamp, is just the beginning, not the end. It's just the beginning. So let's go ahead and see what we can learn today in the crypto space. What's happening out there? Okay, interesting. So the crypto market cap is down 1.7%. Is at 2 trillion. But even though it's down, Bitcoin dominance did not move. It's still at 40.4%. Ethereum didn't move either. It's at 18%. So money left the market. Where did it leave? Let's see. Yep, I was right there. Bitcoin didn't move. It's still at the same spot, flatline basically. Ethereum, slight, almost down 1%, but it's still over 3,100. And I'm actually waiting for this to drop back down into the 2,000 range so I can buy back in on the dip. So we're stuck here at 44,000 resistance. Now I actually tethered. I tethered the other day. Not all. I tethered 50% of Bitcoin because I'm going to buy the dip. If the other analysts are right and this needs to drop down one more time, then I buy back in. We've got, see, the rest, any flatline? Ripple dropped by 2. Cardano dropped by 3. Luna by 4. Solana 4. Polkadot 4. Avalanche 5. So this is where we lost the money in this market cap, down 1.7%. So these top tokens from Ripple, Cardano, Luna, Solana, Polkadot, Avalanche, Dogecoin, those were the losers there. See the best performers over the last 24 hours. Thorchain is up 16.2%. I don't own any of that. Chili's is up 8.5. Waves 6.3. Heart 4.2. Zcash 4.1. There's Ethereum Classic, Hedera, Phantom, Quant. See, Airweave, Cadena. Worst in the last 24 hours. Interesting, Loopring. So after going up 46%, it dropped 9%. That just meant people took a profit. The people that had it down here saw it pop up here and they sold for a profit, but it's still kind of holding. Helium is down 7%, Graph 7, Elrond 7, Juno 6.6. Good morning, Judy from the Solomon Islands. The Facebook user says it was valuable. You bought 3 new coins. Great. Axie Infinity's down 5.7. Avalanche. Also, our secondary portfolio isn't going to look so good this morning. So let's take a look at it. Crypto.com. See. Yeah, we dropped $300 in the last 24 hours, down 2.4%. See here. Okay. All of them in the red. Look at that. Chronos, Luna, Solana, Sandbox, CRV, Polygon. Tezos is up though, 5%. Axie Infinity, Cosmos, Avalanche, Immutable slightly up, Scale slightly up, and ApeCoin. Hey, we just bought this, right? We bought 9 ApeCoin the other day. It's up 1.73%. But the rest is all in the red. So we lost $331 in the last 24 hours in value. What is our Get Rich Quick wallet looking like? Any surprises here? The Trust wallet. Hey, where is it? Let's bring it back up. Oh, we're gonna do that today. Let me see. Okay, let's try that again. There we go. All right. So Filecoin's down by 0.25. Wakanda's up 0.05. Vetter's up 1.69. Ooh, Saitama had a big drop, 31% down on that. So nothing. Cargo X is up 2.1. It's McKinn's Wills, 2.1 million tokens. Green. What is Green doing? Look. Green Inventor. Okay, load up. Still 0.004. No real movement there. And Vetter, it's also the same, 0.004. It's up 3%, at least on Vetter side. Green is up 15%. I should just keep micro trading this and working my way up instead of waiting for the big hit. I could have made a lot of money doing that. But I'm still, if I sell it right now, I'm selling it for a loss because I got this at 0.005, my 95,000 tokens in this wallet right here. As you see, green. Yeah. See, I need this to go above 0.005 and I'll start micro trading it. Okay, so let's now take a look at some news. There was a Ponzi scheme going on in Russia. So let's see what this one is all about and if we can catch any red flags or any hints what to look for in the future. Crypto pyramid busted in Russia. Losses exceed $10 million. Russian law enforcement agencies have gone after the organizers of a large crypto pyramid, which has been promising extraordinarily high returns. We talked about this last night about what to watch for if there's opportunities in the crypto space. It's not necessarily that they are promoting that they can do high returns, but promising and making guarantees. The Ponzi scheme is being unraveled after a similar project defrauded thousands of investors in Russia, the region, and far beyond. Police find crypto pyramid organizers in Dagestan, Russia. Officers from the Federal Security Service, FSB, and the Ministry of Internal Affairs in the Russian Republic of Dagestan have identified persons suspected of organizing a major financial pyramid, offering victims profits of up to 500% per year on their investment. 500% per year. Promising it? Now, okay, I have to play devil's advocate here. There are times where a company is not promising that high a return, but critics will print they're promising this stuff, or they will find out of 50,000 promoters, one clown that made a video, posted it up on YouTube promising a certain amount of returns. Yeah, one person can mess it up for everybody. According to sources quoted by the Russian business daily Kommersant, the suspects are representatives of the Yusra Global Project, Forklog reported. Besides Dagestan, the fraudulent entity had established offices in other Russian regions, Kazakhstan in Central Asia, and Turkey. The publication reveals that the authorities have detained 4 people in January, all Russian citizens who are believed to be behind the Ponzi scheme. They were initially placed under arrest for a period of 2 months. The defendants may face up to 10 years in prison on top of hefty fines. The perpetrators of the fraud were inflating quotes of values of digital assets and paid out dividends using the funds invested by new participants. Didn't I say that last night? You know, when the volatility starts happening, they use new people's money to pay old people. They distributed the rest of the money amongst themselves and purchased real estate. Preliminary estimates suggest the victims' losses amount to 1 billion rubles or more than $10 million, according to current exchange rates at the time of writing. The news about the investigation into Yusra Global comes after last year when Russian authorities busted arguably the country's largest financial scam since the notorious MMM pyramids in the 1990s. Finico, also a Ponzi scheme. I vaguely remember hearing about Finico. Popularity of cryptocurrencies is responsible for the loss of $4 billion in total. Its founder, Kirill Doronin, a social media influencer linked to other scams in the past, and a number of his accomplices were arrested. Citizens of Russia, Ukraine, and other countries in the former Soviet space, EU member states, and the US are among the people who sent 800,000 separate crypto deposits to the phantom entity. The pyramid, which was based in another Russian republic, Tatarstan, received over $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin in the last 2 years. All right. Like I said last night, watch for the scams. Then we have crypto goes to war in Ukraine. Crypto goes to war in Ukraine. How was that? And this is from Wired. The plain view. Sergei Valishchuk knew trouble was afoot when Russian troops began gathering at the border. People assured him the massed armies were only a feint, but the CEO of Everstake, a Ukraine-based blockchain company, didn't believe it. I'm paranoid. I'm an engineer, he says. He begged his employees to leave the country. Call it a vacation if you like, he told them, promising to pay for a retreat to a foreign sunny climate. Oh, I would have took that real quick. Right? Who say no to that? Not everyone took the offer. Vasilchuk himself already had plans to travel to Florida to attend flight school, which is a passion of his. When the invasion came, 2 days after he arrived in the U.S., he worked from his stateside outpost to make sure his parents, who are still in Ukraine, were safe. And he did what he could for his employees. Some are now fighting the Russians. My home is probably destroyed, he says. He's in South Florida indefinitely, not partying with fellow blockchain bros, but working 24/7, he says. Again, like I said, I'm going to Miami not to party. I'm going down there to work to help his country with crypto. I can do only two things in my life, crypto and aviation, he says. He chose the former, determining that the best way to serve his country was to supply it with funds via digital currencies. Not long after the invasion, he set up a DAO, that's a decentralized autonomous organization, an entity whose trustworthiness can be verified by the reliable blockchain ledger. Vasilchuk partnered with the Ministry of Digital Transformation of Ukraine and a currency exchange called FTX to set up a system of government to accept cryptocurrency directly from donors. FTX, Provis just sent me. I haven't seen the whole audio yet or video, but it is about the owner of FTX. The owner of FTX. You know what? I'm gonna forward it real quick to Marnita. And Marnita, if you can post it for me, let me stop share here, because this is fascinating. Fascinating learning about and reading about billionaires. He's not an old billionaire. He's a new billionaire. He's worth, I don't know, 30 or 40 billion. Well, when Bitcoin went up to 69,000, he was. I think right now he might be worth 10, 15 billion, something like that. And he's a philanthropist, a vegan and a philanthropist who says that he wants to give all of his money away. Let me ask you guys a question. If you became a recent billionaire, and just type yes or no in the chat box, would you give away all of your money, your fortune? Take that, I guess it's like the billionaire's pledge. Would you do that? Okay, forward to Marnita. Now, I was talking to my dad about that. if we had a multiple billions, will we give it all away like Bill Gates says he's doing and Warren Buffett says he wants to do? I already have an answer to that. No. Will I be generous? Yes. Yes, I'll be generous. But I'm not giving all the money away. This is for the family. This is for legacy. But he's an interesting cat. These billionaires, they think differently. Okay. So FTX, so far the fund has taken in more than $65 million, which has been distributed between the country's defense efforts and humanitarian aid. The effort is one of several using blockchain-based technologies to help Ukraine and its people during these nightmare weeks. Some have even dubbed this conflict the crypto war. That's interesting to say that. The crypto war. It's unlikely that those who have lost homes or loved ones would agree that crypto is the headline here. But the chaos of war often gives rise to alternative economies. In this case, it's not so much a black market, such as the one that helped rebuild the Japanese economy post-World War II, but one that rests on the unique virtues of crypto. Now, that's an interesting analogy. After World War II, the currency that helped rebuild the world was the US dollar. That's what everybody wanted to get their hands on. But in this war, which Europe is already making proclamations that they haven't seen anything like this as much of a threat since the Second World War, the what do I want to call it? Not the economy, the asset, the monetary value that is being pushed the most valuable is not the US dollar this time. It is Bitcoin or the crypto market on both sides. On the Russian side, because Russians are trying to use it to avoid sanctions, and on the Ukrainian side, because with Ukraine, they don't have, their banks are all shut down and whatnot. They don't have access to money, but they still have the internet. And you have the internet and you have a cell phone, you have access to crypto. So crypto is becoming at the forefront of this, so much so that the whole world is now looking at this. And you got President Joe Biden signing an executive order. We're going to cover that in a second here. So apparently Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky recognizes that this is a huge deal, as just this month he signed legislation that blessed key activities in the crypto sector, like currency exchanges and bank integration for crypto companies. Good deal, Christina. You want to shoot a message to Herschel Crow. He spotted that one. While the spoils of crypto are often enjoyed by privileged investors eyeing Lambos, the technology seems almost custom made to surmount the challenges of a beleaguered Ukraine. A Bitcoin transaction takes 10, 20, 30 minutes versus a wire transfer that might take 2 or 3 days. And you can't be sure of that. By then, the Russians might have bombed the national bank. Says Ilya Polosuskin, I'll just call her Ilya, co-founder of blockchain company Near. Near. I just saw Near popped up here when we were looking at something. Was it the best performers the last 24 hours or the worst? Let me look at Near again. And I have Near in notes. I don't think I've ever bought it yet. It's not there. Was it the worst performer? Loop Brain. I don't remember where it caught my eye. All right. So Ilya is also one of the instigators of a DAO called Unchained, which has so far taken in $7 million for aid. In addition, these crypto funds accept donations anonymously, which is particularly advantageous for any potential givers with ties to Russia, whose leader is known to hold grudges. Oh, wow. So, in other words, even Russians themselves can donate and not fear that if their name pops up, there's going to be blowback because they donated. This is also why, in Congress, sometimes they have what do they call it? Blind votes, so that you can vote and not have your name attached to it. Because if you're in a certain particular party, if you're seen as doing anything that might benefit the other side, even if it's the right thing to do, then you're the enemy. And depending on who the leader is, they're going to come after you. They're not going to endorse you. They're going to primary you out if you don't toe the party line. And so it's called blind voting or blind trust. So here, crypto allows individuals to feel free to do what they want in their heart without fear of repercussion, of backlash at it. So, but maybe the most significant, oh, wait a second, let me keep going here. Finally, the idea of using crypto in this way is just plain attractive to those sitting on huge piles of Bitcoin, or other coins with insanely high values. Wow, that's impressive, Melissa. $60 million in crypto raised for Ukraine. But maybe the most significant aspect of wartime crypto in Ukraine is how private currencies are nudging their way into everyday commerce because the banking system is shaky in Ukraine. Some suppliers receiving coins aren't interested in making the exchange from crypto into fiat. Oh, look at that. They're not interested in transferring it back. They want to keep it in crypto. It's not clear what the exchange rate will be between US dollars and hryvnia, which is the national currency. And so having coins in crypto is beneficial. Crypto might be particularly precious for those fleeing the country who don't want to travel with cash. I was hearing reports last night, Russian columns hijacked some buses that were supposed to be used to evacuate citizens out of Mariupol. And they told everybody to get off the bus, and then they robbed them. Took all their money, and then took the buses. But if you had it in crypto, they can't rob you. So for people remaining in the country, ILCA says Unchained is working on the equivalent of a crypto ATM card where people can buy supplies using their digital wallets. Both Vasilchuk and Ilusan, who is currently running his company from Lisbon, think that crypto will be essential in restoring their battered homeland. This is the big key right there. The United States is still dominant in the world because we were able to use the US dollar after World War II to rebuild other nations. We need to stop the war and rebuild this country. Can you put a price tag on how much damage has already happened in all of Ukraine right now? Do you think that they're in any position, even with the war were to stop, to quickly try to rebuild and have enough money and funds to do so, especially if their economy tanked? But crypto can be used to help to rebuild their country. The crypto world will play a huge part in that. There are no banks in some places anymore. Isn't that interesting? The cryptocurrency movement to date has been plagued by the blatant greed of many of its adherents. Money laundering, of course, they want to use that. With loony fluctuations in value discouraging acceptance as a legitimate alternative to traditional economic tools. Even Ethereum inventor Vitalik Buterin is troubled by this. The peril is you have these $3 million monkeys, and it becomes a different kind of gambling, he told Time. But behind the devastation of the Russian invasion, there's evidence of how blockchain-based alternatives might justify some of the exhausting hype. Gold bugs might say, well, that's why Russia has been stockpiling gold so that they don't have to use the US dollar. But if they still have sanctions on them, nobody is going to be buying Russian gold. They can still be iced out. But if Russia had instead had more of a stockpile in crypto, they're able to move that around the world and the market much faster than if they're trying to move gold around. Some investors are already celebrating this. In a recent letter to shareholders, Larry Fink, the CEO of the BlackRock hedge fund, touted the war's potential impact on accelerating digital currencies. Here's the key here. Listen to the words he said. Digital currency. He didn't say cryptocurrency. Vasilchuk sees the crisis not as a turning point, but an acceleration of the inevitable. Crypto was not underground before, he says. We just lost the restrictions. Before we celebrate the future, though, let's hope for peace in Ukraine, a respite that all too sadly Bitcoin can't buy. That is true. I'm not going to read the rest of this because it's not what I want to look at. Time travel. Oh, wow. In 1994, I am going to read this. Wow. In 1994, Wired wrote about digital currency in the past. 28 years later, we're finally working out the issues I wrote about then. Is e-money, they called it back then, it was called e-money. Is e-money really going to happen? He said, inevitably. Hard currency has been a useful item for a few millennia or so, but now it has simply worn out its welcome. A recent paper by several cryptographers at the Department of Energy's Sandia National Labs in Albuquerque, New Mexico, begins by enumerating what all e-money advocates identify as the fatal flaws of cold hard cash. Oh, I'm getting excited about this one. Okay. The advent of high-quality color copiers threatens the security of paper money. The demands of guarding it make paper money expensive. The hassles of handling it, such as vending machines, make paper money undesirable. The use of credit cards and ATM cards is becoming increasingly popular, but those systems lack adequate privacy or security against fraud, resulting in a demand for efficient electronic money systems to prevent fraud and also to protect user privacy. That sounds like the baseline of the white paper that Satoshi Nakamoto wrote. This is 1994. They were talking about the death of cash and moving to e-money. I'm excited to read this. This is wow. Let's keep going. The coming of e-money would seem to demand that governments of the world get together and implement a scheme to make the shift in an orderly fashion. This is going to lead into the next article I'm going to read. But that's not happening. The US in particular is promulgating public cluelessness. When I called a spokesperson for the Federal Reserve to ask about electronic cash, he laughed at me. Isn't that kind of like how Blockbuster Video laughed at Netflix? It was as if I were inquiring about exchange rates with UFOs. I insisted he look into it. And he finally called me several days later with the official word. The Federal Reserve is doing nothing in that area. That was 1994. Wow. Okay, this is my quote for the day. Time travel back. I'm going to save that article. And then that's going to lead into this. How many of you guys knew? And you can type yes or no. If you knew that the entire idea of crypto has been in the works for at least 20 years before crypto even became a reality. If you knew about that or didn't know about that, type yes or no. If you knew. I knew certain things, but I didn't know how this was going to play out leading up to this. I didn't know. Biden's proposal for a new digital currency is an attack on liberty. Now, 1994, the Federal Reserve said, and I quote, let's pull that back up. Not the pyramid one. In 1994, the Federal Reserve said they are doing nothing in the area of electronic cash. So back then, they called it electronic cash because the internet, everything was E. And now we call it crypto or digital currency or cryptocurrency. So now let's look at what, almost 30 years later, 28 years later, 1994, I was 17 years old, turning 18 years old in 1994. Wow, still a baby. So Biden's proposal for a new digital currency is an attack on liberty. While the world remains, and I want to clarify something. This is not Biden's proposal for a new digital currency. This is the government's proposal. It doesn't matter if it was Biden, Trump, or whoever. This has been in the works since the Obama era. Obama, Trump, Biden. While the world remains focused on the tragic situation in Ukraine, the Biden administration is preparing to launch America's first government-backed digital currency. Trump was pushing to call it the Trump coin. The Fed, I became aware, the earliest I can find that the Fed was already on this was 2014. I didn't even get into crypto until the end of 2016. This has been in the works for a long time. Government-backed digital currency. There's a link, Fox Business here. What's the date of this? Cryptocurrency, also called crypto, is a digital currency in which transactions are verified and records maintained by a decentralized system using cryptography that enables secure. Yes. Let Fox Business be your source. Okay. Oh, this is just giving the definition. But I find it interesting. Even Fox Business is keeping track of the top Bitcoins and their daily performance. Look at this. They're having increasingly more news about crypto. Bitcoin price trades around 44,000. BlackRock's Fink says Russia-Ukraine crisis could boost digital currencies. Bitcoin price hovers around 42,000. So this is their cryptocurrency section. Fox Business is covering all of this. Isn't this interesting? Okay. If a new digital dollar is rolled out, it could substantially reduce individual rights and give the Federal Reserve, the national government significantly more power over the U.S. economy. And I agree with that 100%. That's why I am not a fan of digital currency, but it is inevitable. There's no stopping this. And in other words, it is going to happen. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. It's a natural progression. You will no longer have this. The government used this as a system of control, and they faked everybody by saying it's backed by gold. Then they took it away so that they can print it whenever they want. But now they back themselves into a corner. There's more money in bank accounts than there is physical dollars, because with the stroke of a pen, they can increase interest rates. They can increase the national debt ceiling. They can print more cash. And when they print more cash, it's always done digitally first. So if every single American tried to run on the bank and pull their money out, there's not enough cash to go around. ATM machines would go empty. Talk about a national collapse. And the government's going to swoop on in and say, oh, don't worry about all that. We're just going to make it digital. The digital dollar will give you a little debit card, and you can use your debit card to access the money in your accounts. And for convenience, you might think that's cool. Isn't that great? The federal government is taking care of us. But my fear, and I've been saying this for years, means we now give them full control over our money. They have the ability to freeze our accounts when they feel like it with no recourse. What are you going to do if the government freezes your account accidentally? Who are you going to complain to? How long will it take to get that mistake, if it was a mistake, corrected? What happens if the other party that you don't like has more representation in Congress and they start voting in bills and laws in place that deals with the finances without the government can seize your assets, without you having any say-so on that? I agree with this. On March 9th, the White House released an executive order covering digital assets, including cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin. Under the far-reaching executive order, a long list of government agencies would develop plans for regulating, studying, and or monitoring cryptocurrencies and the various exchanges where consumers buy, sell, and trade them. Oh, look at this. Austin may be next major city to embrace cryptocurrency. Austin, Texas. I'm going to glance at that later. The White House's intrusion in the use of blockchain technology. Now, I do not see it that way. It is a necessity. We need to have regulation so that we know what the laws are. We know what the laws are. So I agree that this needs to happen. But they're calling it. Well, remember who is speaking. We're looking at Fox Business, and they're covering President Biden. So it's always going to be a negative slant. So just always keep that in mind. If it was reversed, if this was CNN and they were covering former President Trump, it would be a negative slant. So always keep that in mind. So, but there's an even more troubling part of Biden's executive order. The potential development of an entirely new digital currency. Oh, that's a whole nother topic, Pat. We talk about the book of Revelations. We talk about the mark of the beast and one world government, one world religion, one world currency. Will blockchain and crypto lead to all of this, where you might get a special chip, and that chip is your identification? That chip allows you to buy and sell, because instead of going to an ATM machine or a grocery store point of sale device and just putting your card on it, you just wave your hand or they scan your forehead. That's a whole nother thing. I talked about that in the early days in Crypto Talk. I gotta go find those videos. In fact, it was you guys heard my mom, interview with my mom. One of my very first Crypto Talks, 2017, was about this, about Revelations. All right. The EO executive order states the White House has placed the highest urgency on research and development efforts into the potential design and deployment options of a novel central bank digital currency. Be very familiar with that. CBDC. It further instructs numerous federal departments, including the Treasury Department, to work on the development of a report on the future of money and payment systems, including the conditions that drive broad adoption of digital assets. And I'm telling you now, this has already been done. This was already done years ago. It's already in the works. They're just looking for how and when they can implement it. Okay? How and when it can be implemented. And I already know how. I have a pretty good idea. They need to have a worldwide global crisis. And I said this before COVID because I said, how can they?
I'm a big, fat speed freak.
Close that. How can they implement where the people will be willing to accept this? You've got to have either a natural or manufactured crisis where the government can come in and save the day. And back then, before COVID, I said it's either a worldwide natural disaster, financial collapse, or war are the things that if you disrupt people's normal routine, day-to-day routine enough, and you give them enough pain, that any solution to that pain, they will willingly and demandingly accept. So you imagine everybody running to the ATM machines and there's no money coming out, so you can't buy food. Gas prices is skyrocketing, but you can't pay for it. And the government swoops in and says, it's okay. We're bringing the digital dollar to save you. You can still buy things. In fact, if you use the digital dollar, you're going to get a gas subsidy. You won't be paying $6 at the pump. You only pay $3.50. We'll cut the gas price in half. We're going to force all businesses to accept the digital dollar because it's backed by us, the government. We're actually going to give you a bonus, maybe an extra $100 bonus in digital dollars. Because if they have digital dollars, they can add more digital dollars whenever they want to. We'll take care of you. That's a scary thing, but the people will accept it because they feel they have no choice. The one thing about the book of Revelations and the mark of the beast is that even if you know it's coming, you can't stop it. You know, there's people say, I'm not going to be involved in that stuff because that's the devil, that's evil, blah, blah. There's nothing you can do that's going to stop it. All you can do is be aware of it and make plans to be able to adapt, adjust, and survive. Like Jim Rohn says, the ultimate goal is to build a financial wall around your family so high that nothing can penetrate it, no matter what's going on in the world that you don't control. Focus on the things you can control. This technology is nothing going to stop it. It's going to happen. And that's why education is so important. So you'd recognize it. So the Treasury Department must submit the report within 180 days, about 6 months. The White House is also asking the chairman of the Federal Reserve to develop a strategic plan for Federal Reserve and broader United States government action. As appropriate, that evaluates the necessary steps and requirements for the potential implementation and launch of the United States. Whoa, you see that? The launch, implementation, and launch. This is already a done deal of United States CBDC. Now, let me play devil's advocate here as an American who is a patriot and loves my country and wants to see my country remain number one. I'm all for this if I'm looking at it from that standpoint. If the world has been the way it is for the last 80 years after World War II, with the US dollar as a reserve currency that has allowed the United States to maintain on top, then we need to do whatever is in our power to keep the status quo the same. And the only way you're going to do that is by not only adopting this technology, but helping to lead in the innovation of it. Digitize the US dollar and keep the US dollar, the world reserve currency, in digital form. Allow innovation of businesses in the crypto space. Encourage it. So playing devil's advocate, I'm all for it. This is a truly remarkable and deeply troubling development. I agree. If a CBDC were to be created, it would dramatically expand the power and influence of the federal government and Federal Reserve in ways most Americans won't understand until it's too late to roll the CBDC back. That is true. You're not going to put the genie back in the bottle, which is why education is so important, which is why we do the 5-day challenge to educate as many people as possible. Most people won't even understand what's going on. All they see is an end to their short-term pain. But the solution to your short-term pain is going to cause long-term pain that you haven't even realized yet. Unlike blockchain-based digital currencies, which are by design decentralized, a central bank digital currency would likely be programmable, meaning that it could be designed so that Americans could only use it for specific purposes. What if the federal government says, now that you've got digital currencies, they can control how you spend it? If you decide to go to a website that is selling products that the federal government deems illegal, and the only way you can buy it is with your digital dollars, and they put a red flag on it and block the transaction, they now can decide what you buy and what you purchase. They now can decide who you're sending money to and how. Do you understand? This will be the end of, I don't want to use the word democracy, but of independence. Financial independence is another word. They can decide how much you spend in a certain place. They can say, we've got enough data on you to realize that you've got a gambling problem. So we know by geolocation that you're in Vegas and you're in a casino, and we're going to limit, you can't spend $50,000. We're going to limit you to only $10,000. What are you going to do? You can't pull out cash. I'm just using certain examples here, because you give up complete control in this, which is why crypto is still going to be so important and necessary, even in a digital world. So a central bank digital currency would likely be programmable, meaning that it could be designed so that Americans could only use it for certain or specific purposes. And it would be easy for banks and government agencies to track digital dollars and the people using them, unlike printed US dollars available today. So I could take this $20 and spend it somewhere and the government never knows that I did so. Although some might be tempted to dismiss these fears as too far-fetched, no, it's not, to be of serious concern for a country like the United States, there is strong evidence that the White House and Federal Reserve have already considered making a new digital dollar programmable. It's already done, in line with their various social and economic goals. For instance, Biden's executive order states that a CBDC should be designed to advance financial inclusion and equity. And I want to make one point now before this gets politicized. For you guys that are educated, you guys that are now listening to me are part of different political spectrums. You believe different things, but I'm here to tell you, when it comes to this, both sides are on the same page. They're on the same side, and it is not the people's side. It's on the elite's side. Those who run and control the banks and the governments and the big businesses, both Democrat and Republican. They need to kill crypto at the same time love digital currency. Donald Trump said cryptocurrency is a scam. It's a Ponzi. It's not real money, not backed by anything. The Biden administration is saying we need to have CBDCs. They're both saying the same thing. So don't allow your thinking in this to be politicized. Everything Biden says bad or good. Everything Trump says bad or good. Just understand what's happening here. They both want the same thing when it comes to this. The government control of our money. That's universal for them, Republican or Democrat. So, and I say that because this is a Fox News, so they're scanting it. Since Biden is talking about it, it must be evil. But if Trump was still in president and is doing the same thing, would Fox Business say this? No, it'll probably be something on Yahoo Finance will be talking like this. So let me continue. Where do we leave off? This thing keeps popping back on me. Okay. For instance, Biden's executive order states that a CBDC should be designed to advance financial inclusion and equity.
I'm a big fat.
And with climate change and pollution in mind. Now, that is a Democratic political position on this. Yeah, we're going to use the CBDC to make sure that we have an equal playing ground for everybody in America, all cultures. Some might say that's good. Some might not like it. That's a political issue. With climate change and pollution, what do you mean by that? Now, of course, we want to have a healthy and clean planet. But let's just take coal, for example. And they say, yeah, well, we're going to make sure that the CBDCs is going to be pushing more on the electric side of things and not coal or oil. Now, I'm not saying whether it's good or bad, but there are consequences to that. That means you're going to be poo-pooing all on the coal industry or the oil industry. If you really want to talk about climate change, so does that mean you're going to boycott businesses that you deem are not living up to the standards of climate change? Again, I'm not saying whether I agree or disagree with the issue. I'm talking about control here and power and rights. You have a right to be stupid. You have a right to ingest things in your body that might be harmful for you. Does the government have a right to force you not to be self-destructive? This is a very, very slippery slope. Just because your side is benefiting from something at the moment, that same issue can be used against you tomorrow. Do you know who said this? Former Vice President Mike Pence, where he made a statement. He said, and again, this is not me being political. I am stating a fact here. So don't go crazy. Don't flip out. But Mike Pence said, President Trump was wrong in insisting that I alone can overturn the election. And if he was right, and I had the power to do that, then the next election, Kamala Harris will have the power, if Donald Trump wins, to overturn the election and say, no, Donald Trump is not the winner. So if everybody is screaming, Pence, you should have did it, would you be okay if Kamala did the same exact thing? No, you wouldn't. So you got to sometimes get out of your own head sometimes, pull the microscope back, and look at the big picture here. So would I be cool with financial inclusion and equity? Absolutely, because it's been historical that there has not been financial inclusion and equity in America's history. But that same power could be used on the opposite side. So I'd have to be very careful with that. A senior administrative official also told reporters that the White House has and will continue to partner with all stakeholders. World order stuff here. Who are the stakeholders? What do you mean? We'll continue to partner with, including industry, labor, consumer, environmental groups, international allies and partners. What does international allies and partners have to do with American digital dollar? When developing plans for a central bank digital currency. This is code words here, ladies and gentlemen. Why would unions, environmental groups, and business lobbyists be involved in the creation of a new currency unless that currency is programmable. A central bank digital currency could also transform America's monetary system in important ways. Rather than use interest rates and complex monetary tools to help improve employment rates and keep inflation at target levels, a central bank digital currency could be created at will with nothing more than a push of a button and possibly even distributed directly to Americans, giving the Fed more control over the economy than ever before. A version of this happened back in the day when all Americans turned in their gold to the Fed. This is going to make that look like child's play. Perhaps most disconcerting of all is that a programmable central bank digital currency could be altered at any point in the future. See, it's centralized. See, a decentralized crypto cannot be altered. It cannot be changed. It cannot be hacked and manipulated. But a digital currency can. I've heard of the African Lumi, Doreen. Yes. And every nation is already planning their own digital currency. Every single one. The CAD coin, Canadian dollar, digital dollar. The ruble coin, the ruble coin. The digital yuan. It's already here in China. The United States has become the world's most successful society by empowering individuals and businesses, especially small businesses. A central bank digital currency would do just the opposite, putting even greater authority in the hands of a small number of banks, government officials, and bureaucrats. This is why crypto is so important. Biden's plan for a central bank digital currency must be stopped. It's not going to be stopped, and there's nothing you can do about it. Now, here's where I will call out Fox. If Trump becomes president in 2024, this is not going to change. Will Fox Business say Trump's digital currency must be stopped? That'll be very interesting. Marnita, I already sent you this article. So when I send it to myself, pull this one up. And if you can put, it's the foxbusiness.com one. And you can post that for me. It'd be awesome. So I agree with the underlying sentiment here. I don't care about who is Biden's or Trump's. But I also know that this is happening. It's not going to be stopped. It's a matter of when, not if. You guys can mark my words about it. Those that are skeptical in 3 or 4 years or whenever this goes along. Brandon said this 7 years ago. Yes, I did, but it's too late now. What did you do to get yourself prepared? You're going to start hearing guys like Robert Kiyosaki and all the billionaires that are saying, we're not holding any of our money in cash. It's crypto now. Because they don't want the government to control their money. What if the government says, okay, let's just use what's going on with Russia right now and the sanctions. And you're a billionaire and you got all your money in CBDCs. And you're in Russia. And the government says, oh, you're in sanctions, freeze their account. It's gone. Like that. Or wake up tomorrow morning and it's all gone. And America like, yeah, that's good. We punish those freaking Russians. All right. All of your money is also in CBDC. And then America says, oh, well, we got to stop. We think that there's some internal terrorists here, or we think that some businesses is doing something illegal. So we're going to sanction the U.S. CEOs. And all of a sudden, your bank account is gone. Just like that. See, with crypto, it's like grandpa hiding their money underneath their bed and not trusting the bank. Crypto gives you, and you're allowed to keep control of your wealth. That's the power of crypto, which is why our 5-day challenge is called Drain the Financial Swamp. But anyways, that is it for Crypto Talk for today. Every Saturday we do this openly for everybody. I hope you learned something new, as that's the point. And I am inviting you to be part of the everyday Crypto Talks we do, Monday through Friday. It is in the ILCAchallenge.com. You've got to register. ILCAchallenge.com. And then in April going forward, the Crypto Talks is going to be in a paid area. If you are a VIP member of the Ivy League Crypto Academy, the cost will only be $19.99 a month. Or you pay for a whole year, you get 2 months off. And you have access to 6 days of Crypto Talks. If you don't want to pay anything, that's fine. You have access to 1 day of Crypto Talk for free. But the information that you will learn in Crypto Talk is priceless. My counterparts that attempt to do kind of what I'm doing may only do it once a week, and they may charge anywhere between $300 to $1,000 a month. A month.
I'm a
one
big,
time a week.
fat speed freak. And with Frontier's Fiber 2 gig speed, I'm unstoppable.
Stop the ads. If you're not a VIP member, it'll be $29.99 a month. So you want to upgrade to VIP before April 1st. And our Ivy League Crypto Academy is going to expand rapidly. I can't wait to go down to Miami in April 6th and 7th and through the 9th. I'll be there the 7th through the 9th. And meet new people, meet new contacts. I'm going to be doing a lot more, interviews. And a lot of them is going to come from the people and the connections that I make at this Miami event. So we're going to be interviewing industry leaders on different projects that we find. We're going to be expanding the community to new people who need crypto. But you guys at the beginning can be our founding members. The 5-day challenge, there's no charge to. You know, it breaks my mind when I hear people say, Brandon, why should I pay for anything that you have going on when I could get it for free? Really? You're trying to become a crypto millionaire for free. Just think about that for a second. Just think about that for a second. So, yeah, you could go and get this information for free if you know where to look and you're willing to spend the 6 months and realize that at least 50% of what you see is wrong. Or you can allow somebody like myself to hold your hand through the process. And I've been doing this for free for 4 years now. So we're going to the next level. So with that, enjoy the rest of your weekend, everybody. Will I do a late night crypto talk tonight? I don't know. No, I got to work. So I won't be back until Monday morning. Early morning crypto talk Monday morning. We're going to look at the charts. I'm watching this very, very closely. Let me share screen again. Positions here I'm watching very, very closely, especially Bitcoin and Ethereum. How this is going to work out. The Asian markets, and what's funny is crypto, you can trade 24/7. But the psychology of people is Monday through Friday, like the stock market and whatnot. So Asian markets open up Sunday afternoon, my time, is Monday morning for them. So I'll definitely be watching the markets. And then early Monday morning when New York wakes up, I want to see this. Is this going to pop above? Or will it start to come back down? Because if this comes back down, experts are talking about the $28,000 to $30,000 range. And I see a lot of money opportunity there. So, all right, with that, take care, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Monday night, we are having our recap of this past week. It will be open to everybody. We will have a link for you VIPs, but I'm going to stream it live like whoa. Can I do that? Let me think about that. Just gave myself an idea. I got to figure out how I'm going to Zoom it and stream it live with StreamYard. I'll play with that, figure out how I can do that. So we're going to get that live on Monday so that you guys can see what's coming when we're talking with James. So with that, take care, everybody. Bitcoin Brandon out. Bye-bye.